Namaste, Jai Hind, and welcome to this edition of The Right Stand. I'm Anand Narsimhan. Ladies and gentlemen, Karnataka once again has become a talking point and perhaps a matter of a political slugfest between the ruling disposition, the Congress party, and the BJP. If on the one hand, the state is asking companies to give out a list of number of Karnatakas that are under their employ, and that's met with a lot of deep resentment and furor, even from the entrepreneurial class in Karnataka. And a lot of the companies are looking back and saying, are you going to now question merit and our ability, or are you going to enforce a certain level of regionalism on us? That's one debate. The other aspect is this entire Hindu Religious Endowments Act within the state of Karnataka. Across the country, the HRNC has been a bone of contention with why only Hindu temples are coming under state administration, state rule, and the larger aspect of free Hindu temples. But in this case, some serious allegations have been made by the BJP, which have now been countered and clarified by the Congress party, saying that the BJP is only trying to misinform, misinterpret and mislead. And with the Endowments Minister Ramalinga Reddy even laying the charge that under the BJP rule itself in the past, these collections have been made from various temples and religious institutions. There are a few amendments that have been moved and which go on to say that a certain amount of money will be collected from temples which are under the Murzai, or about 35,000 temples that come under the HRMCE across the state of Karnataka. And this amount will be connected and this will be used against certain aspects. Now, the allegation from the BJP is that this money will be used and it will be used for other religious institutions. So, temple money, Hindu money is going to be used to propagate or push other religions, other affairs. The Congress very clearly says, no, the amendments mooted in the bill very clearly say that this will be used for dharmic institutions related to Hindu temples only, to the upliftment of the archakas, building orphanages, schools, etc. And it will be used only for Hindu religious institutions, Hindu purposes. The other hand, the BJP is also alleged that there is an attempt to try and seat part of these temple boards and trusts members who are non-Hindus. The Congress has very clearly said this is misinformation. There is only, we are trying to get members of the Vishwakarma community, Valmiki community. These are the people who we are trying to bring into these trusts and give them a place and give them respect. It is the Congress that respects all faiths and is equanimous. It's the BJP that is politicizing and only playing this card of Hindutva with the intention to mislead. So this is where the entire debate is. Let's go across to America in Narayanan, Surbi Hodigere and Dr. Anand Ranganathan, who join us on this matter. Surbiji, how would you respond to the allegations made by by Ramalinga Reddy, the HRNC minister, where he blamed the BJP for deliberately attempting to mislead, saying the BJP was the one who actually allowed these amendments, etc., and has been continuing to collect this tax, 10% from a temple that collects more than 1 crore rupees, 5% when the amount is less than 1 crore.
First and foremost, I don't believe that anybody in Karnataka doubts that the Congress government here has been, putting up these issues because they have a certain ideological bent, and there are certain people here in Karnataka as well as across India that they are catering to. Look at the issue that happened in Mandya to start with. The fact that there were some controversies here where government schools were asked not to do Saraswati Puja. Now we are not making this allegation of Hindu Virodhi merely based on one incident, but this one incident that you have brought out today, Anand, is in itself the sort of like it's a straightforward thing. The fact that temples which have more income, which have more than 1 crore income, should give 10% fund, it's an amendment that was brought in. It was not there prior to this amendment. Temples which have income of 10 lakhs to 1 crore should give 5% to the common pool. Please explain what this common pool is. How does that common pool, does it go to the Muzrai department? Does it go elsewhere? This clarification has not been given. Common pool fund should be used for needy and poor. We have seen, you saw the recent Karnataka budget, Anand, where there was some significant amount of money that was allocated to the Waqf board here for their property development. This is not an allegation that the Karnataka BJP is making, not knowing the history of the Congress here. This is an allegation we are making very strongly. And I don't think that the response from the minister has been sufficiently sufficient at all. It is like Kannadiga Hindus are being asked to pay jizya. This is what the unfortunate state is.
Mr. Vijendra has made that very serious allegation and accusation, but the Congress says this money is not going anywhere, but it is going back to helping archakas, it is going back to helping destitute children, and also to create orphanages, etc. around the Hindu religious temples, and also refurbishment refurbishment and renovation of old temples who do not make that kind of money. That's where this money will be used. That's the clarification the minister has given. Surabhi.
Is that what the common pool means? Is that what section 19A of the amendment that has been passed means, which says that the common pool fund can be utilized for any poor or needy organization? I am not doubting that money has to be allocated for poor and needy organizations, but I'm asking, why can't you, if you are so clear that it is going to go back to the welfare of the temple and temple communities, why does it need to go back into the common pool? The Karnataka state government currently has been showing us that these tricks and treacheries with numbers is what has been a failing. No, we do not accept that. If it is truly going back to Archakas, give us a proper plan of action. It is not, that is not seen, Anand.
And then don't call it a common pool. Say it will be called a temple HRNC pool for temple-related institutions or Hindu-related institutions only. Now let America and Narayananji respond, and then I'll come back to you. Yes, America.
I agree with it. I think, as I know it, in Tamil Nadu Hindu Religious Board, the fund, anybody who is having any kind of work in the HRNCE first have to declare that they are Hindu. Non-Hindus cannot be there. I think that's the same thing in Karnataka from whatever you have told. Second thing is, the funds cannot be used for anything other than the Hindu thing. And I think that's what the opposition and we the people need to make sure that the money that is set aside is only used for that. Now, the minister has, and I don't know what has happened, but I understand this amendment has been made, and the minister has just made the amendment. If he gives you the assurance, it is a job of all the people, including Congress and BJP, to make sure they keep their word. And I don't doubt it when they have given an assurance and it has to be under law. And they can't say, as you rightfully pointed out, a common pool under the Hindu Religious Board can also be said. I don't see why can't that be said, because the fund is from the temples.
But that's where the problem
far as
is.
The second question,
what he said on social media and what the law says, that's the allegation. That what the amendment, the way it is worded, section 19A, and what the minister has said on social media as clarification are in variance. There it only says common pool for the needy and poor. On social media, the underlying aspect or the clarification is that no, it is only for Hindu institutions and temples. But the law doesn't word it like that. That's where
I think the law can be amended, and I think it's a fair thing to ask for the law to be amended, where it has to say that for the Hindu temples, money has to be spent for Hindus. There's nothing wrong about it. Jayalalitha gave a lot of Annadanam, and that was very welcomed, and nobody goes hungry in Tamil Nadu. So these kind of things, temple has funds and it should be used for Hindus and the welfare of the Hindus.
Dr. Ranganathan, in the past, the courts, the Karnataka High Courts themselves have struck down amendments saying these are cosmetic. They have struck them down as discriminatory and violative of constitutional rights. And this has happened in 2011, 2012, these acts that was done on November 29, 2015. In the past, the courts have said that these acts themselves should be done away with. But again, government after government comes back with these amendments, trying to window dress them and push them again.
Couple of points here. Number one, the very fact, Anand, that we are having this surreal conversation about how much of the Hindu temples is legally sanctioned by the state to control exposes this fact. Once and for all, I hope people would realize this, that we are not a secular country. So please, we kind of tom this, India is a secular country. Secularism means complete separation of religion and state. Out here, the very fact that we are discussing about the extent to which the government can control Hindu places of worship, leave alone that it's exclusive. The government is controlling religious places of worship. How can it be secular? So point number one. Point number two, again, it is profoundly bizarre, and my good friend Surabhi is there, and she knows she's a very good friend of mine. But it seems pot calling the kettle black when the BJP is castigating the Congress government or accusing it of tinkering with the control that every state government has had on Hindu temples in Karnataka. I mean, if the BJP was so angry at the way Hindu temples are being controlled, why did it not do away with the act? When it was in power just a couple of years ago, for 5 years, it also controlled 35,000 temples. It also leased billions from them. It also controlled how much of the temple land could be put on rent, thereby incurring massive losses going into lakhs of crores of Hindu temples. I mean, the activist T.R. Ramesh, who you also know very well,
Yes.
has said, at least confining just to Tamil Nadu, that the temple land that should be actually making 6,000 crores, because the rent is sent by the government, is making 58 crores, not even 1%. Same is the story in every state where have you, these boards that so BJP is as much guilty. The question now out here is that somebody needs to have some clarity, and I hope, Anand, you would by tomorrow, because I looked at the Amendment Act, and unfortunately it was in Karnataka, so I could not understand. But somebody needs to say, was that fact that the Congress minister is alleging that 10% of the funds that are collected by a temple that earns more than 1 crore is going to go. He is claiming that that was always there. The BJP government also was making use of it. If that is the case, then this is a non-issue. Then both BJP and the Congress needs to be castigated. However, if these amendments are new and the Congress minister is lying, then of course this is outrageous.
Surabhi Hodigere, the fact is that in November 2015, the courts had struck down similar amendments. And even in the past, now this is the allegation made by Mr. Ramalinga Reddy also, that 1 crore plus 10% will be taxed is something which will be is something which was there even under the BJP rule. Now these amendments have been brought in 2011, 2012, it was struck down in 2015, in the past even before that.
Yes.
And the other point that Dr. Ranganathan makes is that if the BJP is so pro-Hindutva, pro-temples, pro-freedom of temples, and money of temples should be used only by the temples, then why did it facilitate government control?
No, absolutely. I think Anand sir has made a very rational point, and I think the previous Chief Minister from the BJP, Mr. Bommai, had started working towards this to free Hindu temples from government control. There was an announcement in 2022. I'm not going to justify that we have yet to do it, but it was on the BJP Karnataka manifesto, and it is definitely something that is on our mind. Having said that, Anand, this allegation that this tax was also there during the BJP rule, look, I'm going to be very pragmatic about it. Any tax that comes to government, finally, it's a difficult thing to let go of. But at the same time, having said that, the taxation, parts that the amounts that had been there prior were from 25 lakh, the grade A of income, 25 lakh was taxed at 10%. Anything above 25 lakh was taxed at 10%, and between 5 lakh and 25 lakh was taxed at 5%. Now compare that to the 1 crore limit that this government has amended. There is a significant difference. You might say that it was done previously as well, but this amendment, when we are trying to work before, we have been trying to undo this. This is the sort of amendment that they have brought in. The second thing is, this clarification that the minister has given with regards to that common pool is something that I would really want to further understand. Yes, it was mentioned in the previous, before the amendment, that money will go towards in the Muzrai department, their salaries, the betterment of the temple communities, etc. But that has not been clarified. This amendment takes it away. That is what we are very, very concerned about. And I want to bring out another point, Anand, which is also in this very same act, is that the amendment says that Section 25 mandates that management committee of the institution will include members from other religions as well. Now, Anand sir made this point about secularism, right? This is something that we have to really, really reckon with at this point in time. What gives the state this right to mandate or decide who is going to be making institutional decisions for a Hindu community? This is going backwards from what the BJP in Karnataka has been pushing for, asking for, and rallying community for. Yes, we are all for freeing Hindu temples from government control, and there are very, very rich debates that happen in civil society, which Anand sir is also a part of, and the ways to do that. But the Congress government has taken us 2 steps back by making all of this.
No, in this case, the clarification by the Congress party is that, and the minister himself, is the fact that it is going to be somebody from the Vishwakarma community. So the amendment says somebody from the Vishwakarma community. It does not say other religions.
Yeah.
It does not say other religions.
That's why, Anand, I wanted to see the exact words that are used in the amendment that was passed on the floor of the assembly, because that's very important. The rest of the media is saying what Surabhi ji is saying about other religion. The rest of the media is saying that this 10% for 1 crore has been brought in for the first time. But as far as what Surabhi ji has commented, that BJP was also functioning by leeching money off the temples, although the clause was 25 lakhs. The British have a wonderful phrase for it, and it's called 6 of one, half a dozen of the other.
Surabhi Odikere, I know you read Kannada. Mohan Gowda has put out the amendment, and he's put it out, the bill actually, the text on this on X. So if you can read that, then I think you can clarify. If you can read Kannada, and you can clarify it very clearly, because the 2 pages that he has put out, and that's something that Mr. T.R. Ramesh has also highlighted, saying that if this is happening, we'll take it to court, and it is highly unconstitutional. But the fact is that even under the BJP, this tax was not done away with. 5 years of the BJP, you didn't do away with it. See, that's the aspect. You are wanting to collect this tax, and you're wanting to tax temples only. Why didn't the BJP say it will extend to all religious institutions?
Correct.
If they wanted to collect tax, they should collect it from all religious institutions. Otherwise, say no religious institution will be taxed.
No. May I just clarify because I have the bill text in front of me. It is in Kannada, yes, and very clearly, Section 25, Part 4 very clearly says, Parantu ಸಂಸ್ಥೆ ಸಂದರ್ಭದಲ್ಲಿ ಹಿಂದೂ ಮತ್ತು ಇತರ ಧರ್ಮಗಳಿಂದ ಇರೋರು ಸದಸ್ಯರನ್ನು ನೇಮಿಕೆ ಮಾಡಿಕೊಳ್ಳಬಹುದು. ಸೊ ಇಟ್ ಈಸ್ ವೆರಿ ಕ್ಲಿಯರ್ಲಿ ಸ್ಟೇಟಿಂಗ್, ಐ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಹೈಲೈಟೆಡ್ ದಿಸ್ ಆಲ್ಸೋ, ಯು ಮೇಕ್ ದಿಸ್ ದಟ್ ಇಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಸೇಸ್ ಹಿಂದೂ ಮತ್ತು ಬೇರೆ ಧರ್ಮಗಳು, ಅದರ್ ಧಾರ್ಮಿಕ್ ಪೀಪಲ್ ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಆಲ್ಸೋ ಬಿ ಪಾರ್ಟ್ ಆಫ್ ದಿಸ್ organization.
So Section 25 clearly says Bere Dharmagalu. That means other faith.
I don't know where this conversation on Vishwakarma community came. Like, what is the rationale behind it? I'm not against any community or any caste being part of, but that is a decision to be made by the temple and by the community. Have we decided that, like,
no, and is that parallel? Is that equal to all other faith also? So will churches come under Endowment Act? There are churches, if there are churches making more than 25 lakhs, will they be taxed 5%? If there are mosques, and if there are other religious institutions, non-Hindu institutions, will they be taxed? America Narayanan? Why only Hindu temple?
Well, I think you're trying to take a word out of my mouth.
And I'm asking you, sir.
I'll answer that. I think it's a valid question. All I am trying to tell you, there are Waqf board that they are under the control of the government or government appointees, just like in the religious board. But having said that, I think you cannot take the money from any community, whether Hindu, Christian or Muslim, and spend it on another community when it comes from the temple or mosque or churches. As simple as that. And it would not be the law of the land.
Will the Waqf board allow America and Narayanan to sit on the Waqf board?
That's why I said, I don't think, as I know it, Tamil Nadu Hindu Religious Board makes sure only Hindus can be there. And I think anything other than that, the court will object to it. And I think the opposition during the election are trying to capitalize and misinterpret it. That's the way I see it today. But
this bill has been
let it come out well, and then it can be discussed and discussed.
By the Congress party. This bill has been passed by the Congress party in Karnataka in the state assembly. Now she's reading the Kannada text. If you have 19A, you can read.
I'm sorry, I don't understand Kannada, but before I came on this, I was told we are discussing about the language and the minority issues of Kannada, but that's beyond the point. I think, as far as I know, it is wrong to take, and I can not only know, I can say it is wrong to take money from any religion and spend it on another religion. And it is wrong to have people of other religion manage, like Hindu religion people managing Waqf board or churches, and the same way vice versa.
Is it wrong, America, is it wrong to only control Hindu places of worship and not control Muslim or Christian places of worship? Is it wrong?
Waqf board, as I understand it, is controlled by the government, by the government appointees.
The money that is earned, the churches, is it wrong to not control churches?
There is a problem. I think we should look into that. As a matter of fact, recently one of the father has said that British, I think it is organizedly controlled by church of, certain churches, board have been controlled. British have brought in that law. It's time to look at that law.
Yeah, and not just that,
I think
America is
everything, see, basically, I want the government control on temples because from generation, we the people should be able to question. If it is privatized and few people in the villages, for example, like the panchayats in happening in what do they call in Haryana and I think Kap Panchayat, people can railroad the local people. So it's good to have the government regulate, but they should not get involved in the agamas, but they should oversee and make sure things are done. Also, over generations, that things are not swindled.
No,
because
but should that
nobody
apply
can
only to
answer that.
temples? Should that apply only to, are they not?
I already said it should be applied to every religious thing. I think it should be applied to every religious thing. I said
the other thing, America, the Karnataka government recently announced huge amounts of money and doles to Christian institutions and Muslim institutions. But with respect to Hindu institutions, they want the rich temples to fund and to pay the money to a common pool rather than a Hindu pool. And they should take the upkeep, and the state will not lend any money and will not lend any support.
Well, now, I don't know whether that's...
So, is that secular or discriminatory, or is that pulling up a majority?
First thing is, it is the same question asked by the southern states. Why are you giving all the money to Bihar and Uttar Pradesh and things? We talk about social justice. The communities and castes which are better off has to give in to the other communities. So is the religion. Now, it has to go to the poor, and I hope they do that. And I don't think they are taking Hindu money or temple's money and giving it there. If they do that, that's wrong.
I'd like to say here that, this entire debate is supposed to, what I am sensing, Anand, and what the Bharatiya Janata Party is also sensing, is that the Congress government here in Karnataka has been doing these anti-Hindu sort of activities also as a diversionary tactic to see against the state's performance here. Siddaramaiah government has taken a loan debt of more than 1 lakh crore, which is something that has never happened before in the state. There is a complete violation of the Fiscal Responsibility Act. All of this to divert. If you have seen, there have been 2-3 issues like this. They have gone against Kuempu's verse in schools. They have said that the Nadagite, our Nadagite, should not be played in or is not compulsory in specific schools. All of this has been happening as a diversionary tactic and then they accuse us of not paying heed to certain important issues. This is the the strategy that the Congress government is using. While I'm not able to really pull up the Kannada text, I do have the English understanding from a very reputed lawyer who has clearly said that the Section 19A states that the common pool fund can be utilized to any poor and needy organization. Let's be on this debate and I'll pull up the Kannada text. Give me 2 minutes.
So the moment you say common pool fund, that means anybody and everybody can use this. This common pool can be segregated to anybody and everybody. Final word, Dr. Ranganathan. Should that word common pool be then amended and challenged in court and say that it should be used and it should be impressively mentioned that any collection, anything that's being done till the time the HRNC Act itself in place should be used only for Hindu Dharmic institutions and for Hindu Dharmic or related orphanages, schools, etc.
No, absolutely. As I already said, Anand, I am against the government collecting any money from the Hindu temple, per se. But if they are collecting money, and I'm very glad that America and Surbeji also agree, that if they are collecting money from the Hindu temples, that money should only and only go for Hindu causes. So that I am very certain of, but I don't want them to take any money from the Hindu temple.
Okay. We will leave it for now and we'll get for more clarifications. The government itself is saying that the interpretation is misleading and the interpretation is nefarious by the BJP. The BJP is saying that the wording of the text itself and read the fine print because that's where the alarm bell should start ringing. We'll leave it at that. Thank you very much to all our panelists. Ladies and gentlemen, the issue in Bengal, especially with Sandesh Khali and the way women had been treated there by the Trinamool Congress strongman, Shahjahan Sheikh, who continues to remain absconding, and his goons, has now snowballed into a much bigger political fight. The BJP alleging that this is not limited only to Sandesh Khali, but there are other instances across Bengal too, and putting out videos of women from other parts of the state who are claiming similar treatment by Trinamool Congress strongmen. Meanwhile, a documentary released by the BJP yet again on the Sandesh Khali woman has further not just spiked the anger in the way the state of lawlessness in the state, but it was also met with a fierce counter with the Trinamool Congress saying that the BJP is deliberately trying to politicize and polarize the issue ahead of Lok Sabha elections 2024. Let's take the conversation forward with our guest this evening, Priyanka Tibrewal of the BJP, Tausif Khan, lawyer who backs the Trinamool Congress, and Dr. Anand Ranganathan, analyst, author, political commentator, and also a Darwinian atheist who is a scientist. So plenty of hats that many people here on the panel are wearing. Namaste and Jai Hind to everybody. Priyanka Tibrewal ji, let's start with the BJP. The BJP is waking up to Bengal and the state of affairs in Bengal closer to the elections. Come elections, then the atrocities under Mamata Banerjee's leadership on the people, Ma, Mati and Manush, suddenly start getting highlighted by the BJP, after which they forget about it. That's the first allegation against the BJP.
But your allegations can't be proved because, these are just accusations and not the truth. The real truth is that BJP from 2011 only, we have always said what is happening here in West Bengal. We have spoken about these kind of atrocities. But, we failed to bring it and show it largely on a large scale. Now today, when the entire India and the media is helping us, of course, because they are showing what is the ground reality here in West Bengal. Even during the 2021 elections, after the elections, when we have everyone witnessed the post-poll violence, we went to the courts, we have said there, and these are the same places, including Sandesh Khali. There is a place in Birbhum called Nanur, where in my petition, I had told the court that, women were raped after the results were declared. And I said that just not once, just because one girl from Nanur, she had filed an FIR and she was in touch with me. After filing the FIR, she was again picked up from the house by another goon and she was raped again. Ultimately, she had to withdraw her FIR. So this is the state in West Bengal. Now you see what has happened in Sandesh Khali. You will hear similar incidents from various other places. For this land grabbing issue, this has been a very, very common issue. There's a place called Moina in in Midnapur. So I filed another petition there where, lands of these poor farmers were taken away from them. For again the same issue, they wanted to do the baby and the pisciculture and everything because there's a lot of money involved. So the mafia, they snatch the land from these poor people and they add salty water in it because then after that it is not used for cultivation. So this was happening everywhere, but nobody was listening to them because the administration is a failure here. Police doesn't register the complaints. The district magistrate is not ready to listen to them. And the records of the land are changed in the registry office with the help of these goons. So where will you go? What will you say? Now also in Nadia, there's a place called Tihata. The same thing has happened there. After the farmers, they have done their harvesting and everything. Then it is the time for them to cut their paddies and crops and everything. These CMC gundas are coming and they are taking away everything. So where will these poor farmers go? Mamata Banerjee is screaming about farmers there on the border. What about the farmers of West Bengal? No pain for them. She only talks about the gundas in the assembly floor. She has time to speak about them. She has time to speak about Shahjahan. She has time to speak about Anuruddha Mandal. That they are poor victims. But she actually doesn't have time to speak about the actual victims of rape. Where she says that, they are doing drama. What kind of empathy is this? That you have empathy for goons, but no empathy for rape survivors. No empathy for victims. And not just that. When Rome is burning, Nero is fiddling. What is she doing? Women are there on the ground with brooms in their hands. And what is Mamata Banerjee doing? She's busy shooting for a show called Didi Number 1.
Tausif Khan, how do you want to respond?
So, this is absolutely, false to say that while there are complaints in Sandesh Khali and Mamata Banerjee has paid no heed to it. Starting from the very beginning when this story broke, Mamata Banerjee sent the State Women Commission. Mamata Banerjee sent the 10-member all-woman police team. She also sent a Trinamool MLAs, senior MLAs delegation. All the media personnel, the local media, national media, they are all there covering the Sandesh Khali. Police is there. She has also taken steps to prevent any untoward incident in Sandesh Khali, like rioting. There was an incident of rioting. Therefore, 144 was imposed. With the High Court's permission, Suvendu Adhikari also went. Now the DGP, Rajiv Kumar, the DGP of West Bengal Police is also gone there. And DGP of West Bengal Police stayed overnight in Sandesh Khali meeting with all the police officers against whom principally the allegations are that the local officers are not cooperating, are refusing to take the complaints. Now the fact of the matter is that the land grabbing complaints were there from the very beginning, and that was the reason more than 17 arrests you will see. Now the woman's statement was recorded before the magistrate. That statement came to the police, and police included the sections of sexual allegations in this. Sibu Hajda, Uttam Sada, they're all arrested. Now the DGP himself is present on ground, and he has assured that each of the complaint will be looked into. Not a single complaint will be will go unheard, and police will take strict action. The DGP is there. Mamata Banerjee has sent the DGP as well. There are the police personnel. Look what BJP is doing. Only playing politics. A senior SSP rank officer and IPS officer, just because he's a Sikh, just because he wears a turban, just because there's an instruction from BJP top leadership, from the Prime Minister himself, when he said in the public rally in Jharkhand, you will remember, Anand, when Prime Minister said, "Kapdo se pehchano." So the BJP workers are following in that path. Kapdo se pehchano. They are looking at a turban, a man in a turban, and calling him a Khalistani.
You were talking about Mr. Rajiv Kumar. Oh my God, we have all heard him in the past. Who is this Rajiv Kumar? Let me put some light on it. He's the same guy outside whose house Mamata Banerjee said. Now he's the DGP. Why? Because he is famous for hiding evidences. You know, he is one of the accused in the Sharda case. And why was he there in the limelight? For hiding evidences. Now, why is he on to Sandesh Khali? To hide evidence or to wipe out evidence? That is the bigger question.
So if the police is not sent, they will have a problem. If the police officer, the top police officer of the state is sent.
That is what we are saying. Who are the top notch in TMC? The biggest gundas are the favorite chocolate boys of Mamata Banerjee, like Sheikh Shahjahan. Who are the chocolate IPS of Mamata Banerjee? Those who were accused of having, hiding evidence issues and...
You see in the very beginning, when the ED conducted the raid,
so we can very well understand what kind of administration is this, what kind of rule of law is this. Mamata Banerjee is just playing gundagardi over here. When
the ED conducted raid and that unfortunate incident of attack on the ED officers happened, BJP went to court and asked for a state police removal of the state police team and for an investigation to be conducted by the central team. But the court said there will be a joint investigation and retained the police officer. The court showed their faith on the state police officers and allowed a CBI officer to hold a joint investigation. The Home Minister awarded a best police station award. Bengal Police received the best police station award. Sirampur Police Station received best police officer police station award from the Home Minister himself.
You know what more?
So please get us on record. You are praising the Bengal police, but on TV you are abusing
Priyanka Tibrewal and Tausif Khan. Please pause. My single question is that Mr. Tausif Khan, you're fantastic at showing the spotlight where you want the audience to see while hiding what the audience should actually be seeing. Dr. Anand Ranganathan, is the BJP overtly politicizing the matter? Is the BJP looking at this as perhaps their one single peg that would help them jump up a few seats in the Lok Sabha elections? Or do you sound to reason, or does your heart echo the ethos, the pathos, the pain of the women who have dared to come on record on camera, right here on News18?
Good evening, Anand, and good evening to my fellow panelists, Tausif Bhai and Priyanka ji. This is what I feared, that Tausif Bhai and Priyanka ji would go hammer and tongs at each other, and we would lose the perspective. The perspective, as you very rightly said, is that scores of women have been so tremendously brave, fearing certain deaths or persecution. They have come out and said what they have. Now, I want to make 2 points here. Number one, Tausif Bhai mentioned the court and how wonderful the court was in, deciding what it did. Ultimately, when you would have a joint investigation, let me now, because myself and Priyanka ji stand the risk, no longer stand the risk, but will be called biased and Sanghi. I wonder if the Chief Justice of the High Court could be called that. So I want to quote him verbatim. Quote, Sheikh Shah Jahan cannot be on the run and the state cannot support him. We have seen the grievances. The women of the area have flagged issues. There has been land grabbing. In the suo motu matter, we will ask him to surrender here. He can't be defying law. If one person can hold the entire population to ransom, the ruling dispensation should not support him. He is just a representative of the public. Prima facie material shows that Shah Jahan has done damage to the public. He is on the run after committing alleged crimes. We don't know if he is protected but unable to be secured. That could mean that state police are not able to secure him or he is outside their jurisdiction. You, the state administration, are just creating a tense situation. You are unnecessarily harassing locals. Like in COVID, people were going into depression because they are confined to their homes. Let people speak out. Just because people say something, the accused will not become a convict. If you shut them out, that will not work. It is rather surprising that the person who is the core of the problem cannot be apprehended till date and is on the run, unquote. This is verbatim the statements, the words of the Chief Justice of the Honorable Kolkata High Court. Now tell Tausif Bhai, is there not something shameful that for 46 days and counting, the man who is committed, alleged to have committed grievous crimes like gang rape, is on the run, is roaming free? The problem is not that I am asking again the TMC why he is doing that. I want to ask Priyanka ji, does the center not have central forces at its command or the armed forces? Is it not embarrassing for every Indian, 1.4 billion Indian, that for 46 days, the man who is accused of gang rape is roaming free? Is it not embarrassing? Is it not shame? Forget about TMC. Is it not a shame on the central government and all of us, Priyanka ji? I ask you this question.
They will scream about, scrubbing democracy. They will scream about being victims. They will say that it is just because we are not in power. It is.
So are you worried about what they think?
Trying to scrub.
Are you worried about what they think or what we think?
We actually believe in the federal structure of our country. That is why we are not interfering in the matter of state, because law and order is a state subject. They should get
but in this case,
the
Home Minister of the state of Bengal, standing on the floor of the house in the form of Chief Minister, has given Mr. Sheikh Shah Jahan the victim card. She has said that it is the ED going after him. That's what she has said. She has not spoken a single word about the complaints made about the women against Sheikh Shah Jahan. Women of Sandesh Khali has not echoed with Ms. Mamata Banerjee.
And just
as the Home Minister of the state.
Anand, Tausif Bhai is also right when he says, Tausif Bhai, just 10 seconds. Tausif Bhai is also right when he says that the Home Ministry, the central government Home Ministry, gave the best police station award to a police station in Bengal. What he does not disclose, and what is a matter of shame for the central government as well, is the fact that that entire district was castigated severely by the Kolkata High Court. That same police station in the district, during a Ram Navami celebration, when people were being stoned, the police were severely injured because the mobsters, the population out there who were disrupting the Ram Navami celebration, stole the bulletproof jackets and the helmets of the police people, and they came under stone pelting. So this is some kind, I don't want to be cynical and call it Mili Bhagat, but it is condemnable that the Home Ministry and the central government are still not doing anything. They are somehow afraid that Mamata will feel bad or the media will feel bad. Forget about Mamata and the media. It is about 1.4 billion people, Priyanka ji.
Anand, I definitely agree to what you are saying, but again, as I tell you, that these are the people who will show that, federalism is being corrupt here. They will say that, they are not allowing Mamata to run the state. They will run to the court. And there are, legal flaws, and for which we have to go with the law, whatever the law says. We just can't do or take things in our hand like that.
Let me ask you, you went to the courts in 2021. What happened?
Correct.
The BJP went to the courts in 2019. What happened? The BJP went to the courts in 2018 after the Panchayat elections also. What happened? Trilochan Mahato to Sandesh Khali, what has happened?
See, I will tell you because I have personal pain involved in this, because Trilochan Mahato case also I had filed, the 2021 post-poll violence also I had filed. You see, I have an order from the court where they have said that all the victims should be compensated by the state. Even then, they are so shameless. They have not given any compensation, for which I have filed a contempt also. But as the process of law, you can very well understand everything goes according to its own speed. Until date, people have got no compensation.
Tausif?
You see, Anand, the one thing that is being repeatedly said is, where is Sheikh Shahjahan? Why West Bengal police has not been able to arrest him? You see, this entire episode of Sandesh Khali started with the raid that ED was conducting on Sheikh Shahjahan, and since then, ED also is looking out for him. If West Bengal police has not been able to arrest Sheikh Shahjahan, why has ED failed to arrest him? ED had gone to conduct a raid on ration scam, on alleged ration scam, on alleged cases of corruption against Sheikh Shahjahan. It is only after the passage of several weeks that this story of sexual exploitation by women has come to the fore. When this story came, after about 10 days, the police was handed with the West Bengal police received copy of the complaint where the woman recorded a statement before the magistrate where the allegation of sexual assault was there against Shibu Hajra and Uttam Sardar, and all those people were arrested. About 18 people have been arrested in this case. But all this, I understand
are you saying the ED is incompetent?
No.
Are you saying the ED is incompetent?
I'm only asking a question. Those who are pointing fingers at West Bengal police and calling West Bengal police a Khalistani, should I start call the ED that they are anti-national? Should I say that ED is also anti-national? They are also looking for Sheikh Shahjahan for last 40 days.
1 minute again. I'm just asking you. You have once again said that a claim has been made that somebody was called a Khalistani. A counter claim has been made that proves that. So unless that is proven, because that proves that claim itself has been challenged, unless that is proven, why should you accept it? Because that's the same argument that the Trinamool Congress spokesperson and the leaders have given when the Sandesh Khali women have made a claim against Sheikh Shahjahan, that unless it is proven, we will not believe it. So in this case, a claim is made and you are willing to believe it. In that case, a claim is made, you are unwilling to believe it. So if the ED is incompetent that they have not found Sheikh Shahjahan, so are you saying that the West Bengal police by default is also incompetent? The West Bengal police that reports to the state home minister is also incompetent?
Cornered him. You've completely cornered him.
You see, the video is all over. Please see. When he was
who makes the claim? Somebody is making a claim.
Is he community is protesting. Yes, he is saying. Please hear.
Somebody, an IPS officer, they believe what the IPS officer is saying. But when women are raped and all the women are on the street, on the ground, when they are saying something, they don't believe. They said, support lekya. They said, we don't have any evidence that you were raped.
And the charges of sexual assault were only added in Sandesh Khali 10 days later.
Yes.
When one of the
women went to the district magistrate.
After the statement was recorded.
In the presence of Rekha Sharma, who is the National Commission for Women, and the magistrate took so
and
does that color the West Bengal police in glory? Or does it actually cover it in shame, sir, Mr. Tausif Khan? What would you say? Because the cops, according to the law, are supposed to register a zero FIR the moment there is a complaint of sexual assault. Are you trying to say that the 10-member team led by a women DIG that the Trinamool Congress itself trump-tumped about, that was appointed, was incapable of getting the women to come out and register a complaint? And it took that it had to be done under 164 CRPC. Does that cover the West Bengal police and the state home ministry under glory, or does it cover it in shame, cloak it in shame, sir? According to your own words.
You see, the incident that preceded the statement, the woman going to the magistrate and recording the statement, was the incident of rioting and arsoning. No. You see, Mamata Banerjee as a state administration cannot allow BJP workers.
The women of Sandesh Khali. The women of Sandesh Khali are singing songs saying, Didi, what have you done?
Burned down.
You have backed Sheikh Shahjahan over us.
The poultry. No, please.
Whose poultry farm? Whose poultry farm?
Regardless of the accused poultry farm, that is not the justice.
You said that those women don't belong to Sandesh Khali. They are showing their
No,
You
nobody's
accuse
property.
someone
If
and go and
nobody's
burn
property,
their house.
the-
You
if-
accuse
if-
someone
if
and
nobody-
burn their poultry farm.
if no-
That's
Anand,
not the
can I come in
justice.
because I have
The
No, no, no.
justice
Well,
is
yes, yes,
justice
Dr.
will be
Ranganath.
done by
No,
the
no.
court. Justice will
Was
not
it
be
done?
done by the mob.
What?
Justice
So
will
justice
not be done by the BJP
by
workers.
court. So
Justice
justice
will be
so
done by the police administration and the court.
What did the
Court will
police
pass
do?
the judgment.
What enforcement of law did
BJP
the
worker
cops
will
do?
not do that.
How do you know BJP workers did it?
Of course.
Do you know where Sheikh Sada
The police
Do you have
investigation
proof that Sheikh
revealed.
That's exactly what I'm saying. So you can make claims what
Police
you can.
investigation revealed that
You
the
can make-
RSS element are present.
So the police
are active
investigation
here,
never revealed that
and
women
therefore
were
the
assaulted,
statement was
their
given
land
by
was
the
grabbed.
Chief Minister in
Police
the assembly. Chief Minister gave this statement in the assembly based on the police investigation. Based on the 10-member police team, that woman police officer, and also remember
by shouting over me,
Also
by
remember-
shouting,
with no face.
No.
TMC
By
is left
shouting
with no
over me.
face because there you
By
have a
shouting
villain
over
king in
me.
itself.
by shouting over me, you're not going to win the argument. Did the Home Minister of the state, the Chief Minister of the state, accept that land had been grabbed in Sandesh Khali? Because that was also mentioned in the complaint. Did she say it in the assembly? Did she say that women have been tormented? Did she accept that youngsters, minors who are being targeted late in the night were asked to hold liquor bottles? They were subjected to physical, verbal abuse. Did she accept that on the floor of the house? Why didn't she say all of that? Because this is all registered. This was all written down in the police complaint. Why didn't she say all of that? Why did she highlight only the revolt of the women? Not the
statement
penury
recorded
that
before
they
the
had been,
magistrate.
and the persecution
The
that they had been
statement
subjected
recorded
to.
before the
And that
magistrate
said-
was
no, the
received
the
by
statement-
police
Why
after
did
the
that-
state after the assembly
Why
speech
did it have?
by Mamata
Why
Banerjee.
Why did it have to be recorded in the presence of the National Commission for Women and not in presence of the DIG and the DGP of the
And
state?
not
sir?
just that,
Answer
they
that
went
question.
to the extent of sharing
It is-
that
Yes,
video.
Dr. Ranganathan,
They
1
know.
minute. Dr. Ranganathan.
Yes.
Yes, Dr. Ranganathan.
No, Anand, I have to make 2 points. Number one,
Ji.
first of all, kudos to you for showing Mamata Banerjee and others the mirror. I have to say this, I'm not being patronizing, but I fear for your safety now, because you remember in just 2 days ago, a channel's journalist has been arrested,
Yes.
ruthlessly thrown in jail, dumped in jail. So please, if you go and when you go to Bengal, please sleep with one eye open, because these people are ruthless. Number two.
Sir, I have implicit trust in the capabilities of the Home Minister of Bengal, the Chief Minister of Bengal, that she will provide for the safety of every citizen who visits her state.
Let's hope so. But Anand, the other important point I want to make is that did you notice that Tausif Bhai, in whatever time he has been given, has mentioned the word Khalistani 4 times. Now, I, like everyone else, absolutely condemn anyone other than a proper confirmed Khalistani being called or alleged a Khalistani. It is abhorrent. If this has happened, it is terrible. But the fact of the matter is, I also saw the video clip that was tweeted by the Chief Minister of Bengal. I cannot hear anybody calling that police officer a Khalistani. I can see the reaction of the police officer, and I completely sympathize with him and I side with him. But where is the allegation coming to fruition that somebody else actually called him Khalistani? I can't hear it. So Tausif Bhai, I know why you're doing it 4 times, 5 times, vitiating the whole debate. The debate is not about Khalistan. The debate, or who said it. The debate is about those poor, hapless, Dalit, SC/ST women who have been tormented, sexually abused, gang raped. Please have some sympathy for them at least, if not for anybody else.
Politics aside, elections aside, the reality is that those who have been given the mandate to govern need to govern, and everybody deserves their governance, deserves their protection, deserves their benevolence, whoever comes under their jurisdiction. With that humble submission, I'm going to wind up this conversation. Thank you very, very much to all our guests. Thank you. And now to the ongoing farmers' protest, which has taken a violent turn, but government sources are telling us here at News 18 that there has been a concentrated effort to help the farmers in Punjab. Now on Sunday, in conversation between the centre and the farm unions from Punjab, the Narendra Modi government proposed a unique solution where it was willing to enter into an agreement with the farmers of Punjab on 5 crops, that is cotton, maize, tur, urad and masood. Now the idea was to help the farmers diversify away from the traditional crops of wheat and paddy, both which are water intensive crops, and to try and cushion and monetarily secure the transition over the next 5 years. The agreement was to be done through the government agencies, that's the CCI, NAFED, etc. There was no upper limit on the quantum of crops that could have been procured. Now, from an ecological perspective, this was the ideal solution for Punjab, where the groundwater levels have alarmingly been depleted. Of the 138 assessed blocks in Punjab, stated in the Dynamic Groundwater Resources Assessment of India, a 2017 report, 109 are overexploited, 2 as critical as 5 as semi-critical, and also only 22 as safe. Now, the total amount of groundwater recharge of the state was assessed at 23.93 BCM or billion cubic meters. Annual extractable groundwater resource was 21.59 billion cubic meters. Still, the annual groundwater extraction was at 35.78 BCM, putting the extraction at 166%, the highest for any state across Bharat. Now, even for Rajasthan, it's less than 140%, ladies and gentlemen. For a small farmer, the cost of extracting groundwater has increased in the last few years, and therefore, by moving away to crops that are not water intensive, the input costs would have drastically reduced. Now, Punjab's majority area is under wheat and paddy cultivation, 85% back in 2021. Now, therefore, the ecosystem, market, buyers, logistics, input supplies, etc., for cotton, pulses, and maize is not as significant, and therefore, by warranting the government need to offer support for the farmers now as they are entering into this phase of agriculture. Now, in terms of area under cultivation, that makes up for only 1.5%. If you look at maize, cotton is 3.2%, pulses a mere 0.4%. For farmers moving towards these crops, it would have unlocked new markets, buyers, and especially in the private sector, thus allowing them more options to sell produce even to the private players at will. Now, by rejecting this offer that was made by the government, the farm unions have actually staked their long-term interests, not just of their own individual interests, but also of Punjab itself, overall Punjab's farmers, for their so-called short-term interests with respect to sources from the government. Now, this is what their perspective is. By not allowing them to move away from wheat and paddy, not only are these unions barring farmers from exploring new markets, but also adding to the groundwater stress that will push up the input costs for the farmers. Now, eventually, it could even make some belts unfit for paddy and wheat cultivation, rendering the soil, the water table, all ineffective for any further cultivation altogether over the few years. And this will further hurt the small and marginal farmers. Now, farmer unions are majorly made up of arthiyas, brokers, and they are locally, that's what they are called, the arthiyas. They're also prioritizing their own personal commissions that they earn from the trade of wheat and paddy at the APMC mandis. More than the price for the farmers, it is about securing the commission for the middlemen at the cost of Punjab's hard-working farmers and, of course, the ecology. Think about it, ladies and gentlemen, and the farmers also need to give it a serious thought.
Mr. Bhai, one of the other contentions is this has become such an issue that, irrespective of which political party is in power, when BJP was in power in the state, they also resorted to this parochial politics from time to time. Now Congress is in power, they're also resorting to this. So the contention is also that, no political party wants to be seen on the wrong side of this issue.
Zaka, why cannot Chief Minister Siddaramaiah say, I'm going to invest 1,000 crores this year to train 1 lakh people or 2 lakh young people and give them high quality skills to get them jobs. Let him make the statement. He is spending 2,90,000 crore revenue expenditure. He is giving nearly 1 lakh crore as subsidies. What is 1,000 crores more? He's got a revenue deficit 27,000 crores. He's borrowing 1 lakh crores. What is 1,000 crores more? Put the money and say we're going to do this for all of them. What is wrong in that? That will go a bigger way and show you're serious about getting jobs for Kannadigas. That is putting your money where your mouth is. They don't want to invest. They want to give subsidies. They will give 3,000 rupees to some young man who says he's not got a job after getting a diploma degree. Why can't they put money for training? Get the top 10 engineering colleges. Tell them each one of you train 1,000 people this year. Here is the money. Do that. It will work. It will work. That's the way to do it. And put more money to higher education in North Karnataka. North Karnataka doesn't have many good institutions. They got very good few institutions, not many. Do that. Invest in infrastructure in North Karnataka. You saw what happened in Hubli, right? Yeah. I mean, you don't abuse companies in the legislature and say, oh, they came for land. I mean, that company has put 300 crores campus, a beautiful campus, biggest campus in Hubli. They will hire people locally. Leave them alone. I mean, you can't do all this and create fear.
All right. All right, let's go across to that story of the Karnataka government proposing to have all MNCs, IT companies put out the names of local employees, how many locals they've employed out on the boards of companies. Joining me now is the former HR head of Infosys and of course chairman of RN Capital, Mr. Mohandas Pai. Thank you very much, Mr. Pai, for speaking with us here on CNN
Thank you,
News 18.
Zaka.
So
Thank
the
you, Zaka.
state government's contention, and Priyank Kharge, who's the IT minister today, said that, look, this was just a proposal. You know, when that whole controversy erupted about 60% signage should be in Kannada, we had asked the public, and one of the suggestions that the public gave was that IT companies should display how many locals they are employing. How do you respond to that?
Look, the government should, I'm sure the government people are very mature people who understand what is the message they're trying to send by talking like this. People can give any amount of suggestions. Suggestions come from all people. Many people are not aware of industry situation, what is happening. They'll give suggestion. It's up to you as very bright, good people who are in politics to understand what has to be done. Now, if you talk that we're going to pass this order, if you don't do it, your license will be withdrawn. What is this license government of Karnataka is giving that they're going to withdraw if nobody follows? So what is the fear you're sending? That you're here because we tolerate you. If we don't like you, we'll kick you out. I mean, is that the way to send a message? Look, let us understand one thing. All of us appreciate government of Karnataka wants to create more jobs for locals. Very good. Karnataka is the richest state in South India or in India. Per capita income is the highest. All right? Because of Bangalore. Bangalore is the richest city in India. Bangalore has 23 lakh people in technology. We hired 1.5 lakh to 2 lakh people in technology very year. You want job for Kannadigas. Very good. Skill them up. Train them up. Out of 1.5, 2 lakhs, at least 50% are Kannadigas. They're all locals who are being hired. It's been happening for the last 25 years. So skill up more people from North Karnataka, where there are not many very good engineering colleges. There are a few very good, not many. And skill them up by training them in triple ITs, etc. And then spend more money in higher education, create more labs in 50, 60.
Co-presented by
Them up. So our young people from Karnataka can go and get jobs. Nobody discriminates when you hire people in technology and MNCs, whether you are North Indian, South Indian, East Indian, nobody discriminates. There is no discrimination. You have to pass through a test, go through an interview. If you are good, you get a job. So why all this? Why all this kind of parochialism right now? Even if you don't want just a proposal, you're just shooting in the dark. Don't talk about it. Zaka, we are living in fear in Bangalore. About 2 or 3 months ago, unruly elements went around the city, breaking glasses, breaking signboards, threatening people. They abused people on Avenue Road, called traders names. You don't abuse communities and call them names. And the police kept quiet. Even on Airport Road, when they're breaking all the signs, police kept quiet. And later only, because everybody protested, all of them were arrested. They threatened the Chief Minister also, and Chief Minister gave it back to them. Now we got a good Chief Minister, a mass leader, Siddaramaiah. He knows what it is. We got a good Bangalore Minister, D.K. Shivkumar, who is in business. He's in the real estate business. He's in politics. He knows what makes Bangalore good. Now if both of them tolerate it, what are we supposed to do?
No, but Mr. Pai, the government's contention is that, look, everywhere, every state, Haryana has tried this before, Maharashtra has tried this before, there is a problem of jobs, good quality jobs, and locals being employed. So this is, they claim, their way of redressing that problem.
This is not the way. This is not the way. There is. Tell me how much money have they spent on skilling? Zakar, let me tell you an experiment Infosys did many years ago when I was there. You know, Bira Kumar, social welfare minister in the UPS said, reserved community is not being hired and all kind of things. We made an experiment with Triple IT. We got 100 engineering graduates from the reserved community who had not got jobs. We paid 1.5 crore for a 6-month training, and all of them got jobs. Most all got jobs. Some got 2 or 3 jobs. We did another batch of 100. Almost all of them got jobs. They're very good people. They have to be trained. And then for the third batch, we told them to go to Delhi to get money. They went to social welfare department. They asked for a bribe to give money. That's the status in Delhi that time. That is a bribe government. Now you see, people will get jobs. This is not the way. Nobody is coming in the way. Everybody wants locals to get job wherever you are. That's the policy. Nobody has discriminated against Karnatakas. Karnatakas are getting at least 50-55% of jobs. They go to all engineering colleges, hire people, and they come. But this is not the way. This is not the way. I think, and remember, in Tamil Nadu today, they announced in the budget the PLI scheme where above a certain income level, salary level, they'll give 30% subsidy for a new job by a GCC. Last year, Hyderabad hired more people in technology than Bangalore for the first time in 30 years. And that is come by NASSCOM. NASSCOM gave the report. They constructed more real estate commercial property than Bangalore, first time in 30 years that I know of, because I've been observing for 30 years. So we must be aware, we must market, we must get more people, we must get a conducive environment. As it is, Bangalore's got a bad name because of traffic. The government promised many months back, in 100 days we're going to improve traffic. What has happened? How much of it has happened? They must spend time in
Good evening, welcome to Brass Tacks. I'm Zakir Jacob. The Karnataka government has created another furor by announcing that they are framing rules that would mandate multinational companies to display the details of the Kannadigas who've been employed by them, the locals who've been employed by each of these companies. The Kannada and Culture Minister, Shivraj Tangadagdi, has told reporters that discussions are underway and a committee will be discussing new rules to ensure that Kannadigas are preferred when employment is provided. The BJP, as well as leading voices in the industry, are criticizing this, calling it a parochial move and also a move against the constitution, which gives you the fundamental right to allow free movement to work and for livelihood. But the most important question is this: for the IT and BT capital of India, that is Bengaluru, isn't this a bad signal for business that you are imposing restrictions or conditions on who can and cannot be hired by major businesses in the city?
ಮಲ್ಟಿ ಕಂಪ್ನಿಗಳಿಗೆ ಏನಾಗಬೇಕು ಮತ್ತು ನಮ್ಮ ರಾಜ್ಯದಲ್ಲಿರುವಂಥ ಕೈಗಾರಿಕೆ ಕಂಪ್ನಿಗಳಿಗೆ ಏನಾಗಬೇಕು ಅನ್ನೋದ್ರ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಪೂರ್ಣ ಪ್ರಮಾಣದ ಚರ್ಚೆ ಮಾಡಿ ನೇಮಗಳೊಳಗೆ ನಿರ್ಧಾರವನ್ನು
It has become more of a political drama. This is nothing a political drama for the consumption, political consumption.
There is no act as of now. There is no demand from either an industry or from the people.
How do you firstly view this
It's a very retrograde step and should not happen.
कहीं ना कहीं सरकार को ये भी देखना चाहिए कि वो योग्य है, उनकी योग्यता का आधार पर डिसीजन लेना चाहिए।
हाँ, ये 100% लोकल पब्लिक के लिए लाभदायक होगा, लेकिन ये हो सकता है उल्टा भी पड़ जाए।
All right, so let's take a look at some of these orders, diktats, these proposals that have been put forth by the Karnataka government in the recent past, which are not necessarily friendly towards business. Number one, the latest proposal that's doing the rounds is that corporates will be required to display the number of Kannadigas or the locals who they have employed, the number of Kannadiga staff to be displayed on the campus notice boards as well of all these companies. A committee will propose new rules which will enable and promote the hiring of more locals, more Kannadigas in employment. Now, then there is, of course, the Kannada Sign Language Comprehensive Development Act that was passed on the 16th of February. The Language Act basically mandates that for all shops, commercial establishments, the signboard that they put outside their establishments should have 60% weightage for Kannada. 60% of the space should be for Kannada. It also applies to all commercial, industrial establishments, trusts, shops, etc. Non-compliance with this act can lead to the cancellation of licenses. But here is the catch. Not only is this particularly bad for business, it sends out a bad and negative signal to industry. This also goes against the law, against the constitution, and numerous High Court and Supreme Court judgments in this matter. The courts have always ruled against any policy that pushes for quotas, particularly within the private sector. In Andhra Pradesh, for example, the Andhra Pradesh High Court, and then subsequently the matter went all the way to the Supreme Court, it struck down 5% extra weightage that was being given to those who studied Telugu. In Uttar Pradesh in 2019, again the matter went all the way up to the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court struck down a recruitment rule which preferred women belonging to the state. That was struck down. In Rajasthan back in 2002, the Supreme Court struck down the preference that was given to teachers who belong to the same district. And most notably and most recently, the case of Haryana, where the Punjab and Haryana High Court in 2023 ruled that this whole business of 75% quota for locals in Haryana in the private sector was unconstitutional. So this is the stated position legally in numerous judgments that I've just outlined, and of course, like I said, violative of Article 19 of the Constitution. So why then is the Karnataka government doing this? Sanju Verma is national spokesperson of the BJP. Sanjay Jha, author and political analyst, and his sympathies, of course, are with the Congress party. Mohandas Pai is chairman of Iron Capital and former HR head of Infosys. Brinda Adige, social activist, joining us from Bengaluru. Sanjay, let me start with you first.